Okay, let's see if I can do this. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and in this video, we're doing another streamline, and we're going to be talking about, of course, the some pretty devastating news, but it happens. Stan Lee has recently passed away. He died a few days ago, and at the age of 95. One of one of few really brilliant men that have actually touched the world and changed people, their thought processes, even changed the whole medium. Uh, not by himself, but he was a very important man to a lot of grateful people. Not only um, with his ideology, but especially with his creativity. As you all know, Stan Lee is one of the figureheads, well, pretty much the face of Marvel, but one of the figureheads of what Marvel has become. Uh, Being one of the most prominent people in its creation, development, and rise as a multimedia company. He was you know him from the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Hulk, Spider-Man, the event. He was one of the people that built Marvel Comics, and he helped change. He helped to change what comics were. He helped to change how comic book characters were portrayed, how they were written. He helped also be able to translate messages and your ideology through comic books. If you go back and you look at Spider-Man, it's about responsibility of a person uh, and what they could do with it, and that selflessness that can come with it if you have the right mentality and heart. If you think about X-Men, you know, it's about bigotry, and of course it did reflect the racism of its time, and it's still progressive now, but not to that extent, but it does still reflect bigotry in the world. um, and Stanley has touched a lot of people. He has inspired a lot of people. He's inspired. He was one of the many men that helped inspire me. He definitely, there's without a doubt, has definitely helped to change media in his way. If you think about, you know, Michael Jackson, how he helped change music. If you think about Stephen King, literature, Stan Lee has definitely made his mark in the comic book world. And I would even argue that without his influence, without his circle that was with him on this journey, we would not be with what we have today. Um, the market for it, the stories that they can tell, the inspirations that they can give to people. Stanley and 95, I have not heard of too many men to live to be that age. And it goes without saying, he has lived a very full and inspiring and eventful life. It man has changed so many people's lives. It's it's not every day that you can meet somebody that just could change people, that touch people the way his creativity, inspiration that just touch people all across the world. How many people do you think are out there trying to create their own comic books, their own superheroes, their own little stories? How many people do you think just are inspired by such characters that they feel related to them, they feel so relatable to them, you know? And it takes a man with heart, and it does take a man with spirit to actually be able to do that. Now, I'm not one of these fans that's going to come over here talking about how much Marvel is better than DC. I'm not going to say that Stan Lee created everything that Marvel did, because Stan Lee didn't create everything of Marvel. He was Jack Kirby. There were other talented artists and writers that helped build upon what Stan Lee started, even though Stan Lee didn't even start it by himself. So, and just think about how he's also, and if it wasn't for his input as well, DC probably wouldn't be getting the recognition that it has now. Yes, DC came out before Marvel, but without that, the energies that these two have, especially when they're so competitive against each other, I don't think that I personally think that the back and forth play between these two definitely help build up what the comic book industry is now. But without Stan Lee's contributions, I do not think that we will be as big as it is now, as massive as it is now, as worldwide as it is now. I haven't personally met Stan Lee, and like so many fans out there, so many people across the world, I would have liked to just sat down with him for about like 20 to 30 minutes, just had shared a cup of coffee and had a good conversation with him. What inspired him? What continues to inspire him? What would he say to up and coming people that wish to follow in his footsteps? Who he's inspired, and and like a lot most people, and yes, he has met and touched a lot of people. I'm not going to get that chance, but I can say that I'm grateful that I I, I acknowledge his work. I'm grateful for his work and how it has inspired me to step up to do my own. He's partly the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now with the Narik channel, with my writing, with the little production studio that I'm trying to build as well. He's definitely one of the people that have definitely inspired me. Um, where where Marvel goes from now, it's anyone's. I don't know. All I know is that it had a really good run with Stan Lee. Um, if not being the head, just being the face of it, a face that you could look at and say that guy's he's just a normal guy. He's a pretty cool guy, and all he did was had the courage to throw his ideas out there, put his thoughts and feelings out there, write, create, and knowing something like that, having that in your mind, having that thought just be put in your face. A normal man like me just went out the way to just do something that they wanted to do, be passionate about something that they did, and look what happened. Mr. Stanley, um, you know, you've had a great run. You are an awesome guy in the face of millions of people across the planet. You're an inspiration to millions of people across the planet. Your stories and your characters have inspired millions of people across the planet. What you have brought to this world, your contributions, will always be appreciated and remembered. You, for lack of a better word, are an awesome guy. And I really wish I could have met you. A few years ago, I know when I went to the Comic Con in New Orleans, he was there, and I really wanted to meet him. The best I could do was uh, like see him like from like 30 feet away, because I couldn't get into the line. But and even then, I remember just how hyped I was just to see this guy. And I don't know him outside of what he's got going on in out there in the public. I don't know what his personal life is like, but I can tell you that, like, just seeing him, I'm like 30 feet away. I'm like, oh yeah, he's right there. It's it was a really cool feeling. It was interesting because I'm like, I don't know this guy, but it's like one of those moments where you feel like you know someone through their work, and you're very hyped to meet him because you're like, okay, he's put so much good content out here. He's created so many great characters. I wonder, does he have the same presence as Thor? I wonder if he's honorable as Captain America. I wonder if he has that selflessness as Spider-Man. I wonder if I could see any of that in his personality, or will I see all of him in his personality? Are these characters extensions of him? But yes, I was really hyped. I regret I couldn't get a chance to meet him. And when I get a chance to look at some of the interviews and things where he's discussing uh, just anything, I take the time out to learn about it, to hear what he has to say. So, uh, another great person, another one of those people in history that are just has been meant for greater purpose. Has moved on. He's had his time. He's done what he was sent here to do, and that was to change the world. For lack of a better word, he has changed the world in a lot of aspects. And I hope that his family and friends and close people to him are doing okay with his passing. Like I said, the man was 95, and I'm not saying I'm like surprised that it happened because he was 95, and he was up there in age. I don't really hear too many people make it to like 90. He was 95, but he has seen the fruits of his labor. He has seen what he has created grow, and that right there is a meaningful life. Not only did he watch the seed that he planted grow into just massive, just this massively stupid, just corporate like company that's just everywhere. It's in games, it's in toys, it's in comics, it's in books, it's in movies, it's in television, it's on the web, it's just freaking everywhere. Can you imagine how in the hell how you would feel if you just started off with an idea for a comic book character and then 50 years later you're one of the most powerful like media corporations in the world. I mean, you can argue Marvel is a part of Disney, but Marvel already had weight behind it before Disney even bought it. You know, Marvel. I mean, yes, there was the little bankruptcy, not bankruptcy thing, but the little money issue, financial issues that they did have, but it was still like prominent. Like everybody freaking knows what the hell Marvel is, and this man has got to actually basically build from the ground up. And like I said before, he hadn't done it by himself. There's countless people that have helped him. There's other authors that was with him from the time that he first started. So those people deserve a lot of great appreciation as well. They deserve a thumbs up. They're just as awesome. Hell, I like to go talk to some of them people. See, you know, what's got them going. But that's magical. You know what I mean? You live your whole life seeing the things that you love, the passion that you've had, just continuously grow, continuously develop, continuously just spread. Not a lot of people get a chance to say that. Not a lot of people get a chance to. In fact, most people don't get a chance to see that or experience it. Hell, think about all the times when you go back and you watch the Marvel movies and he's just in there. That's awesome. You get to see this man on screen interact with the very characters that he created. That's something. That's freaking something. actually putting himself in the world that he helped establish. If there was anything that I took away from Stanley, it's always, chase your dreams, be passionate, be humble. That right there is a hero. He is a hero. No, he's not, the cops trying to prevent crime. No, he's not the firefighter running into a burning house. No, he's not the military man or woman that's protecting civilians. But he's a hero because he gave the world hope. His content, his beliefs, his creativity not only gave the world hope, but still continues to give the world hope. How many of us were at school or were at home, we were sad about something, just decided to just pick up a comic book, read, read, read characters that were going through the exact same thing you were feeling at the time that you were reading it, and it made you feel better. Watch the cartoon, watch the television show, watch the movie, and just saw these characters that you knew were not real, but they felt so relatable because they were going through the same thing you were going through. It's magical. That is freaking magical. Like I said, Stan Lee, you will not be forgotten. You have permanently made your mark on the world. What's the one guy that was what's the one guy that was the owner of Apple? I can't remember this guy's name right now. Let me look it up right quick. Steve Jobs. I don't got all the answers. I don't. Like I said, he's up there with Steve Jobs. He's up there with Michael Jackson. He's up there with Stephen King. He's up there with the many men and women whose ideologies touched millions across the planet. I don't know you, Stanley. I wish I could have. You seem like a very just down to earth guy. I hope the best for your family. I hope the best for your friends and your loved ones. And I know your legacy will continue to grow, to inspire, and to evolve. And I can only hope that it does so with your blessings. All right, then, guys, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts. We'll catch you later. Rest in peace, Stan Lee.